Setting up a startup at age of 24, right after finishing law school, entering into a market space which was nowhere closely even related to his field of study, and most importantly, introducing cold brew coffee to India. Arman Sood, co-founder of Sleepy Owl, is a name synonymous to beverage innovation. Arman co-founded Sleepy Owl in 2016 and introduced cold brew coffee to India, something which India was not even aware of. From cold brew coffee to tea bag style coffee bags to filter coffee in a tea bag, Sleepy Owl is known for its innovative products and serving the best coffee one can ever have. I have personally not come across any brand which is so deeply connected with its customer base. Sleepy Owl has literally changed the way India consumes coffee now. I got a chance to speak to Arman and know more about his journey and everything coffee. I am a Sleepy Owl coffee addict, and if you love coffee and you have not tried Sleepy Owl yet, buy it right away and trust me, you'll thank me later. But for now, this is Arman Sood on justPARV. Hi, Arman. Welcome to Just Perf podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on this podcast. Considering Sleepy Owl is my personal favorite, and like we were discussing earlier, I was actually desperate, so to say, to get you on the podcast because this is one brand I really connect to.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Parv. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So it's a small just perf tradition, Arman, which we follow here. I'm going to give you two food options and you need to choose one. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
it's not going to be very difficult. It was difficult for me, but I just hope it's not that difficult for you. Okay. If given an
Okay.
option to choose between Rajma Chawal and Chola Bhatura, what would you choose?
Chola Bhatura.
Chola Bhatura. Any
That
specific
was an
reason?
easy one. I don't know. I don't know if I'll get killed for saying this, but I'm not a fan of Rajma Chawal.
No, it's same for me. Yep. So a lot of our past listeners also prefer chola bhatura. I think it's a very Delhi thing that people prefer chola bhatura over rajma chawal.
But I'm not. Best part is I'm not from Delhi. I'm from Calcutta, and that's where I grew
Wow.
up. And I consider myself more Calcutta than Delhi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I enjoy chola bhatura because growing up it was more of a novelty, whereas rajma chawal was more regularly available. So I prefer chola bhatura over rajma chawal.
Right. Great. So the way we are going to go about this podcast is, Arman, like we discussed in the first part of the podcast, we're going to discuss more about Sleepy Owl and what you guys are doing. And in the second part of the podcast, we're going to talk more about your entrepreneurship journey. Right. So
Okay.
just to begin with, coffee as a product already existed in the market, right? And then
Sure.
you guys came up with Sleepy Owl in 2016. So what was
Correct.
the problem at hand which you guys were trying to solve? What's the journey like?
Okay. So I think one of the things that we noticed in the coffee space was that convenient coffee, right? Easily available, tasty, brewed coffee was you know the biggest gap, right? In India, we're an instant coffee drinking nation, right?
Yep.
And instant coffee, because of its ease of making and ease of availability, was the go-to choice for most people.
Yep.
Whereas freshly brewed coffee was intimidating because either you'd have to go to a coffee shop to make it, or you'd have to have some know-how or some skill to be able to brew it well at home, right?
Right.
So we felt that that was the piece that was broken, that we wanted to solve and make freshly brewed coffee conveniently available to customers, right?
Hmm.
So when we started our journey, we began with cold brew coffee as the medium
Yep.
to kind of introduce customers to an easy way of having freshly brewed coffee. But obviously, over the years, we've educated our customers about cold brew, then about our ready to drink products, about hot brew, and slowly, gotten them into the whole fold or the whole scheme of things.
Yep.
Um, we don't believe that freshly brewed coffee is impossible to make, or instant coffee is per se very bad. It's just that we felt that there was a void and a gap that we could come up with and do something unique and have our own space, and that's how we started the journey.
Sounds good. But like you said, right, cold brew was something which was fairly new to the Indian consumers. I
Sure.
clearly remember till 2016 there was no one who was talking about cold brew, and then came Sleepy Owl in the market. But now there's
Correct.
so many brands who are promoting cold brew, right?
Sure.
There's cold brew coffee, just like you have brew packs. There are cold brew coffee shots. The market is becoming so competitive, right? But at the same time, it's good for Sleepy Owl, I feel, because then collectively everyone is trying to grow the market. The pie is huge, and everyone is getting some piece of it. But still, considering it's so competitive, how do you guys ensure that you're capturing the mind space of the customer, or what we literally call as the typical business jargon, the brand recall? How do you guys ensure that the brand recall happens?
Okay. So one of the things, when we in 2016 when we started, we were the first people in India to do cold brew coffee or talk about it or educate the customer about it and make it a part of the coffee conversation in the country, right?
Yep.
I think because we had that head start, or you could call us pioneers in the industry. We had 2.5 years where there was no other cold brew player in the market, and it was only Sleepy Owl that was providing a high quality cold brew product
Yep.
that was available directly to consumers' homes, right? Uh, I think there were a few cafes and coffee shops that started making it and serving it, but primarily in the at-home market, it was only Sleepy Owl. So I
Right.
feel like when other players did come into the market, they were coming up with solutions similar to Sleepy Owl. And yes, as you pointed out, that does expand the pie and increase the overall category, of cold brew. But I think consumers are savvy enough or smart enough to read, research, understand, once they are into the cold brew ecosystem. And
Yep.
they definitely give Sleepy Owl a try. Even if they get introduced to cold brew through another company or another brand, they do give Sleepy Owl a try. And I think, it all boils down to having a great quality product, good quality marketing or content that attracts the customer to you, and of course your after sales service. That goes without
Absolutely.
saying, right? And one thing that we've prided ourselves on consistently from the beginning till today and in the future as well is to provide great service to our customers, right? And continue to educate them about cold brew. So while as you pointed out, there are many formats and many players in the market, I think we
Yep.
managed to hold our ground. And one of the reasons for that is the kind of service we provide after sale, as well as the quality of the product itself. You cannot compromise on that at any stage, right? So
Right.
that's how we become synonymous with cold brew in the
Right.
country.
Absolutely. And is something which I also realize, right? And it's very typical for any startup to have a fear wherever there's a bigger player who enters the market, right? I think Starbucks entered into cold brew segment post Sleepy Owl launched its cold brew, right? If I'm not correct,
Correct.
if I'm not wrong.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think still you guys have been able to create a niche market for yourself, considering whatever ups and downs, be it lockdown, be it the kind of market we are operating in. I think
True.
kudos to the team. They've been delivering the product perfectly till now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's we've had our share of ups and downs and challenges with the business environment and the back end, but I think everything has fallen in place at the right time for
Yeah.
us to continue operating the way we have been.
Absolutely. And there's one thing which I'm sure all the customers would notice about Sleepy Owl, Arman. You guys started with brew packs, right? And then from brew packs, you introduced tea bag like coffee bags. Then you guys
Correct.
moved to bottled coffee. And then there are accessories which are specific to the entire brewing process. And then we have
Mhm.
these ceramic mugs, which are great. Uh, and so there's constant innovation which is happening, right, at Sleepy Owl. So do you call yourself as a coffee company, or if it is a term, a beverage innovation company, where would you want to put yourself in?
I think I would call ourselves a beverage innovation company because I think if we limit, I don't want to limit ourselves to coffee. Yes, we're Sleepy Owl, right? That's how we are recognized. Today we're recognized as Sleepy Owl Coffee, and we have a range of coffee products in our portfolio. But I think, as you mentioned, looking at the way we're heading,
Yeah.
and the innovation that we've done in coffee, I wouldn't put it past us in the future to innovate in other beverage categories as well. But as of today, it's coffee. That's where the focus is. That's where all the team's mind and energy is. But never say
Yep.
never. No one's seen the future or predicted,
Absolutely.
what happens. But I do think that we, are a brand that is recognized not only because of the coffee, but because of, like I said, our branding, our content, our service, our style of doing things. And that allows us to, do new things for our within the framework of the company for our customers and for our
Yep.
customer base. And yeah, there'll be a lot of interesting stuff coming from the Sleepy Owl house in the near future.
Great. There's one thing which I'm sure is literally part of Sleepy Owl DNA, which all the customers and everyone around would realize is customer centricity, right? You guys are so close to your customers. I have personally received calls from the team to collect feedback, and I think that works wonderfully well because you literally are on ground understanding what's happening and what's not working out, right from changing the packaging of the brew packs to the small stories which you guys send in the whenever you guys are making delivery. I think that's literally touching base with the customer at the ground root level. So involving customers while creating products. And you recently launched Filter Coffee, where I understand you guys had a program where customers were part of designing the product of what should be the color of the packaging, right? So you guys are so close to the customer. Are these
True.
calls usually always taken by involving customers, or are there calls which you guys also take by your gut?
I mean, it's a bit of both, right? Your of course at the larger level, obviously the decisions are taken more with our gut, but the gut also gets tuned to listening to the customers, right? Like we
Yeah,
are all the founders are active on the support email where we get
absolutely.
inquiries, feedback, all of that from our customers. We all have our own methods of continuously talking to our stakeholders and understanding what their needs and requirements are, right? So many a times it's an idea that is first, let's say, something like filter coffee, for example, right? Like it was a bit of a mix. I don't think too many customers wanted or asked for filter coffee in a brew bag, right?
Yeah,
Because the core customer that drinks filter coffee or is extremely protective about their filter coffee has it in the traditional manner.
yeah,
But we asked ourselves first, why not? Why can't we create a blend of coffee and chicory, that is close to a filter coffee that can be brewed using the bag format, right? So we
yeah,
wanted to launch this product. I don't think any customer specifically asked us to launch a filter coffee. It was more from our side. But then we started talking to customers and asking them, would this be of interest to them? Would they, use a product like this, so on and so forth. And the answer was an overwhelming yes, right? So then we decided that we'll do the launch of this product as a public launch, where we'll share what goes on behind the scenes to launch a product in terms of the marketing, in terms of the product development, in terms of the packaging, and share our journey with the customers. And it was very appreciated, and I think it added more excitement to the
yeah,
impending launch. And but I think it's a, like I said, it's a mix. You have to listen to your customers and what they want, but sometimes customers don't know what they want. You being in the industry, can present things to customers that they might appreciate and like, right? I think
yeah.
there was Henry Ford was the one who said, if I ask the customers what they want, they'll say a faster horse, but he
Yeah.
developed a car, right? So
Yeah,
from that perspective, I truly, that resonates with me, right? That customers don't always know what is possible or what is out there, and it is the responsibility of us as brands to bring it to them.
absolutely, absolutely. And what's the future like for Sleepy Owl? Where are you guys heading now? You've already launched, bottled coffee. You have make your own coffee. What's the future like for Sleepy Owl? Where are you guys heading now?
So one of the things that I mentioned is that we have one of the core strengths is the quality of the coffee itself, right? So since
Yep.
we source and we deal with such wonderful the base product, right? We've been serving it to customers in the RTD with milk. We've been serving it in the DIY cold brew and hot brew packs. But one of the constant questions that customers have had for us is like, what if I just want to use the coffee? Your coffee is so good. What if I just want to buy your coffee, but not the filter bag or the brew pack, right?
Right.
How do I go about that? And we never had a product in our portfolio that allowed customers to buy our coffee directly. So I think at some point during this call itself, you can visit our website and you'll see a newly launched product that is
Yes.
Sleepy Owl's whole beans and ground coffee
Yeah.
that is now available to customers to buy. Right?
Yeah.
We realized and also felt that a lot of people move from instant coffee to freshly brewed coffee with Sleepy Owl as the entry point into this. But over time, for the enthusiasts and for customers who want to use a French press or an AeroPress or an espresso machine at home, right? They then would go to other brands and buy coffee from them so that they can use these machines and these instruments that they have at home. So
Yeah.
it was a simple answer as to why not, make our coffee and our quality of product more accessible to customers, right? Um,
Right.
and with that in mind, we've gone ahead and launched our original blend and our dark roast blend that customers love, and we've put it in the
I think
ground
that
coffee and whole bean format.
so that goes live today, right? I was checking Instagram where the team was literally creating more buzz around it yesterday, and I guess that goes live today.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Awesome.
Anytime during this call.
Well, that brings us to the end of split one of Just Par with Arman Sood. Split two goes live pretty soon. In the meantime, show some love, like the video, share your comment in the comment section, and click on subscribe.